Hey everybody, it's Dr. Sandman. I hope that all of you are doing great. Welcome to another mug mutterings video. This is the mug for today. It's a little terracotta pot with mushrooms on it. And our boire du jour is gone. Rien. There's nothing in there because I drank it already, so that's the mug for today. Today's topic is near and dear to my heart. So I work at a metaphysical shop, and I do tarot readings at my store, in Lenormand readings as well. And some of you guys don't know how to get a tarot reading. So I'm sorry. I'm ready to help and read for anybody, but some of you guys don't know how to get a tarot reading. Let's talk about it, shall we? Some etiquette, some things to keep in mind if you ever find yourself in a position where you want to get a tarot reading. I would like to start off by saying that I'm a tarot reader and I've done it for over a decade, and that just because I do certain things certain ways does not mean everyone does it that way. So this is all advice and notes on my experience as a tarot reader, and you may disagree with some of them, and that's okay because everyone does it differently. But yeah, so just know that all of these are from my experience as a tarot reader. So one of the first things that I would say is like handling the cards. So if somebody, not every tarot reader that you go to is going to let you or want you to shuffle the cards. Sometimes they do it all themselves. But if you're ever in a position where they ask you to shuffle the cards, please, so shuffle them well, however you can. Sometimes they'll tell you how to shuffle them. Be mindful of your questions or what you're hoping to learn about. As you do, but please, these are not your cards. Please be gentle with them. You don't have to be so careful. But unless a tarot reader tells you, yeah, you could be rough with them, unless they tell you that, do not just smash them together as you shuffle them. I have had several people shuffle them in such a way where I thought that they were going to rip the cards. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. It's maddening, and it's like, it's so disrespectful. Just to do that, to treat an item like that does not belong to you. So just a little word of advice, don't do that. Now on shuffling, this isn't so much etiquette, but more as like some advice, what to do, what not to do, things like that. So I would say that, again, the tarot reader will tell you and hand you the cards if they want you to shuffle them. So if you're wondering how to shuffle them, you can shuffle them lots of different ways. If you're really nervous about mistreating the cards, or if you're like, I don't know how to shuffle, you could always cut the deck and then reassemble it, and do that a few times if that's what you're most comfortable with. Sometimes they'll hand you the deck and only say, cut the deck, don't shuffle it. So there's that as well. Another thing to keep in mind is that all tarot readers do things differently. So don't think that the way you've seen people do tarot readings on TikTok is the way that your tarot reader is going to read your cards. So if one goes flying out of the deck, your tarot reader will pick it up or will say to not to touch it or set it aside, leave it aside if they want to. Don't go and flip it over and leave it there unless you are asked to, because every tarot reader or Lenormand reader or oracle reader or any kind of card diviner will tell you what they want you to do with it. Some of them do want you to leave it there, but that's not all of us. I usually do if it comes flying out of the deck, or if you are shuffling the cards and one gets stuck but doesn't come out of the deck, don't, not your ass! If one gets stuck and it doesn't come out of the deck, don't take it out and look at it and then put it aside unless they ask you to. It's just that your tarot reader will lead you through the process. Trust and believe. I assure you they will. If you're ever unsure what to do with the cards, like if one falls out and they're not saying anything, you can ask, do you want me to leave it there, or do you want me to put that back in the deck? And they'll tell you. If you want some advice on how to actually shuffle the cards, Something that I personally would advise is don't do it like willy-nilly, like throwing the cards together. I know you've seen a lot of people on TikTok do it that way. That's not so, so shuffling them slowly and carefully shows intent. You're supposed to be intentional in the way that you shuffle the cards, because you're tapping into that intuition and you're trying to get your energy on it. When you do it all willy-nilly, that's more chaotic. And while some people do like to read like that, that's usually people who read for themselves. If it's for other people, then it's not. Tarot reading is meant to be intuitive. It's not meant to be chaotic. But again, follow the lead of the person reading your deck, and ask questions on the correct way or incorrect way, because again, like I said, everybody does it differently. This next bit of advice is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. Some people don't mind as much. I do. I really do. I hate when I'm explaining something to somebody, I'm explaining what the card means, and they keep cutting me off. If you are paying that person, hopefully you're paying them, you're paying that person or asking them to provide a service for you, whether it's your friend, whether it's like a professional, whoever, don't keep cutting them off as they're trying to explaining, because for some of us, you have to be in a mind space and there's like a flow. As you're speaking, you have a flow of consciousness. You're getting the intuition from what the cards mean, and you're onto something. So just be patient. If you want to make a comment, wait until they're done explaining each card. If they're explaining it like card by card, sometimes they do a little bit more like a storyline, or like a sentence. But if they're explaining it card by card, if you have to get something, wait until they're done with that specific card. You are more than welcome to ask questions. I think it's good to ask questions. This is just a me personally thing. Not every tarot reading will have an answer to every question you have, even if it's all surrounding one subject. Not every tarot reading will have an answer to every single aspect of a situation. They'll have a lot of insight, but not everyone will have every piece of insight that you're looking for. So if you find yourself asking too many questions and your tarot reader getting flustered, it's probably because you're asking stuff that is going to require a second reading or more cards being pulled out of the deck, in which case a lot of us will pull additional cards, especially if it's like just like a semi-related question to the reading, but the cards specifically pulled don't really correspond to it. Then we might reshuffle the cards or just pick one from the deck. But it might also do you well to write down your questions beforehand. Please don't hand us an essay worth of questions. But yeah, if you want, you could actually write down your questions. So because a lot of people will leave and be like, oh man, I had this question. I've had people come back and say, oh, I had a question, and then ask me the questions like, honey, I do so many tarot readings. I don't remember what cards I pulled for you. I might not even remember your initial question. An assumption that a lot of people make is that if you are a card reader, that means that you're also clairvoyant, or that you're also a medium, or that you're also innately psychic. And that's not the case. A lot of us are just card readers. So if you are a card reader and you read intuitively, you have some kind of spiritual inclination or gift, depending on how you want to interpret that. But not all of us are like jack of all trades. So not all of us can speak to the dead. Now, I apologize if that is disappointing for you to hear. Not all of us, like especially if you have a loved one who's passed, you want to get in contact with. Just because somebody reads cards does not mean that they can get into contact with your loved one, and that's something important to know so that you don't get taken advantage of. A lot of us can read cards and read them very well. Not all of us can do everything else. Not all of us do spell work. So that's more of advice for you so that you don't get taken advantage of. So I don't want you guys thinking that tarot reader can be interchangeable with witch or clairvoyant or medium or anything like that. That's so that you don't get scammed. I should do a separate video on how to not get scammed or how to know if a tarot reader is legit. But there's a lot to that, so I can't add it all to this video. But yes, so that's just something to keep in mind. Something that I think is really important to say is that, and some readers are going to get mad at me for saying this, but you don't have to believe everything that they say or take everything that they say so literally. And I say this because there are a lot of people who get a reading that they don't like and then they turn their anger towards the reader. First of all, age-old adage, don't shoot the messenger. I understand if you receive something that is bad news and it's upsetting. Don't take it out on the reader. You can express that you're upset, but like, don't be mad at the reader. I think some people mistake that, have this misinterpretation that the tarot reader, once they read it, it will happen, rather than it's destined to happen and they're able to see that. I also am of the belief that things can change, things affect other things. So just because somebody says something to you in a reading does not mean that it is set in stone. So don't get mad if they promise something good and it doesn't happen, because things can change. Like for one of my readings, I do relationship readings. I do past, present, future, if things remain on the path that they are now. So, and I feel like that's all future readings is, if things keep going the way they are, this is where it's going to lead. So unless you are comfortable with that, you might want to change up your ways. Or if there's a big change in your behavior or your actions or something else, that's going to change the outcome. So that's another thing to keep in mind. These are just a few tips and things about etiquette, if you will, for getting your cards read. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions like, hey, is this like a rude thing to do or not, comment them down below. I will also leave my social media and links in the description below. And if you would like to watch more videos that are about tarot, mostly tarot deck first impressions and reviews, things like that, I have a whole playlist about those on my channel. So yeah, you can check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe for more videos if you're interested, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.